MacBook Pro is honestly one of the hardest reviews I've ever had to make. While there are a lot of pros, there's also a lot of cons that go along with that. If I had to sum up my past few months with the MacBook Pro, I would say that it's largely untrusted, incredibly fast, and very ambitious. But unfortunately, I don't think it's quite ready for prime time yet. Let's start with the good. First off, the screen is really great. It's very colorful, it gets pretty bright, and as far as computer screens go, it's one of the best I've used. The keyboard is also really great. It's very tactile and has a very well-developed backlight. Also, this is the first computer to have Touch ID, and it's a complete no-brainer. It makes going back to old Macs feel sort of analog. And the design is a refinement. It's still very sleek and thin and light, and we now have the space gray finish, which is a welcomed addition. Now the performance is where things start to get a little sloppy. While yes, it is very fast and very capable, it has some major issues. For instance, in the past few months of owning this device, it has completely crashed on me quite a few times. Applications freeze and crash left, right, and center, and weird little red lines show up on search bars and buttons that seem to go away after you click them, but still, it's kind of weird and very annoying. For reference, I have a fully maxed out 15-inch with the exception of the top tier storage. Now going back to the beginning, I said that the computer was untrusted. Now that's a very important point. Not too long ago, I was writing a 7-page paper on Pages. Now Pages completely froze, which made my whole entire computer freeze. It finally decided to start back up, and the whole entire project was lost. Now you might be saying, why didn't you save it all along? The point is, I did, and it still completely lost it. Now this is a huge issue for pro users, because say you're working on a design, or a 3D design, or a video, and you lose it. That's not good. Now, surprisingly enough, the last update was supposed to fix the red bar issue. That update didn't fix shit. Now, another large issue with this computer is battery life. I get about 3 hours if I'm doing something more intensive. Usually this would be using Final Cut Pro, Illustrator, Photoshop, or even Pixelmator, or even AutoCAD. These programs drain the battery. Now, if you're doing something more basic, like browsing the internet, or listening to music, or writing papers, or anything like that, I usually get about 5, which is still pretty terrible. Another huge topic of controversy are the ports. And honestly, I'm fine with USB-C. I encourage it. It's on most phones now, and now it's on my computer. So now I can go travel with one cord and be able to charge all of my devices, which is honestly sort of the point of USB-C, to have one port to do everything. The issue is with people that live in the Apple ecosystem, because if you have an iPhone 7 and you have a MacBook Pro, you're essentially going to be forced to carry an adapter for your headphones. Well, that, or you're going to have to carry 2 pairs of headphones. Because essentially, iPhone 7 does not have USB-C, so they're forcing you to have Lightning headphones. Now, if you switch over to the MacBook Pro, which was released after the iPhone 7, they still have that headphone jack, which they said was not the future of technology. So yeah, whoever is in the ports department, are you on crack? The other huge issue is Apple's selection of adapters. Now, in my opinion, if you are trying to go with a fully USB-C future, I think you should have the adapters to go along with that. I mean, there are obvious adapters that they still don't have on their shelf. Now, especially with trying to appeal to pro users with a pro laptop, you would think that they would at least have USB-C to SD card slot. But no, because they're Apple, and you bought into it. Finally, let's talk about the single largest selling point of this computer, the touch bar. And honestly, I see potential in this feature. It's just not there yet. Now, the main issue is with the software. It just doesn't make sense. Another issue is that I hit that touch bar by mistake whenever I'm trying to type or hit a command on the keyboard. Now again, I see how this feature is useful and can be useful, but it just needs a few more versions in order to get all of the kinks ironed out. It's also one of those features that really depends on third-party developer support. And honestly, I think that will sort of make or break the touch bar. And also, the touch bar is a little low resolution, especially considering the screen right up above it is so crystal clear. It definitely looks a little pixelated, which can be annoying. But I mean, final thoughts, this is a very confusing product. Now honestly, I don't know if I could actually recommend this to anyone in the market for a new computer. It's insanely expensive, and honestly, it's sort of like an investment. Now obviously, I can't make your decisions for you, but I truly believe that you should look at alternatives and definitely weigh your options.